I got a question for you on the Scott Frost deal. You know, they say you can't go home again, and it certainly was the case of him going back to Nebraska. But you know, they brought him back to UCF, where he had the most success he's ever had as a coach, and the most success UCF has ever had outside of, I think they had one great season under O'Leary, where I think they went to the Fiesta Bowl.
Your brother here had a good year in 2018.
That's right. How surprised were you that it was Frost? How do you think that all played out? And do you think that he can because in my opinion, of course, I consider myself a Florida kid. It's where I finished growing up. It's where I played high school ball. I've spent time at USF on staff, and I always thought that, you know, if we ever got into a major conference, boy, Katie barred the door, and we were in the Big East, but we never finished the deal in the Big East. I think UCF's a really good job. And I know they only get the half share for the first 2 years in the Big 12, and Gus has used that as one of the reasons he decided to leave, which kind of a loser's limp type of thing. Hey, I just want to
going into it. I don't know. No one told him he didn't get it. I don't know.
Yeah. So how did this happen from what you know, and how do you think this plays out in part 2? And by the way, it's a Big 12 thing. Rich Rod's back at West Virginia.
The whole band's back together. So something we had known behind the scenes, and I saw recently Andrea Adelson reported it, so I feel comfortable sharing more about it. In 2023, Tim Harris Jr. left UCF to go to Miami. That opened up an offensive coordinator spot for UCF. Scott Frost interviewed for that job. He spent time with Terry Mohajir. Apparently, Gus was in favor of this. Now, again, this is what we're told. This is what Andrea Adelson reported as well. Gus was in favor of Scott coming back to UCF as the offensive coordinator. Shane's look is fantastic right now because I can tell he's thinking there's no shock. Not would have worked. But allegedly, that was the conversation. But that didn't work out. But in the course of that conversation, Terry Mohajir, the athletic director, spent some time with Scott, got to know Scott, got to kind of learn a little bit about him. And so when Gus decides that he's stepping away to go to Florida State, Scott's on the short list. And the way Mohajir framed it, and I actually do think this is probably accurate, although I'm sure there's agents and coach speaks involved, that he talked to 5 or 6 different guys and talked about the UCF job. And Scott was the one who wanted it the most. The other ones would have taken it, but Scott wanted it. And he said to him, that was a differentiator, that he looked across the table and he saw a guy in Scott Frost who said, that was the best I've ever had it. I would do anything to get back there. And Terry feels like that's going to be an intangible that he can use and leverage rather than hiring, Andy Kotelnicki from Penn State, right, who would take the job but maybe bounce someplace else, that this is where Scott wants to be. So that's kind of a little bit of the backstory about how Scott's name kind of got to come about. Now, Scott would tell you he had to be talked into it. Terry will tell you that Scott wanted the job. So I'll let those two arm wrestle one day and figure that piece out. In terms of how it's going over, guys, this to me is your ultimate head and heart argument. The heart of the UCF fan is like, oh, he's back. He's finally back. The guy who brought us the most success. Oh, and he brought KZ with him. And, oh, Sean Beckton's with him too. And, oh, he brought out, they're back. They're going to do everything great. UCF Fast is back. Everyone's happy because it's nostalgia, right? The heart is full and happy for UCF fan. Then the head kicks in. You go, wait a minute. It's been 16-31 at Nebraska. He's 5-22 in one-score games. He got fired mid-season. There's some stuff off the field. He was out of the game for 2.5 years. He hates NIL. So it's an ultimate head and heart argument, guys, because the heart of the UCF fan, how could you not love him coming back? This is the redemption story. Everyone loves a redemption story. But your head goes, is this really going to work out? For all the reasons you said, Pat, this is not the American Conference anymore. This is the Big 12. He's been out of it for a long time. There are a bunch of other players on other teams that are obviously perhaps bigger and stronger than UCF. So it's ultimate head-heart argument. In terms of Terry Mohajir, short of hiring Nick Saban, I don't think you could have nailed this hire any better because everybody universally likes the energy and likes what Scott brings. But everyone loves their coach when you're 0-0. So let's see how it happens once they strap up. But I think it's head and heart right now. The heart of UCF fans it's full of all this nostalgia. But as soon as we get on the field and realize, oh, can this guy really coach? You guys talked about his track record, 7 years, 1 winning season. That 1 winning season was that 13-0 year at UCF. Other than that, he has not had a winning season as a head coach. I always say this to the audience, Shane, not to cut you off. If I just deleted Scott Frost's name from his resume and wrote Shane Burnham on the top, would fans be as excited? And I think that's the head-heart argument, right? You look at the name and you go, oh my God, Scott Frost back. Then you look at the resume and you go, oh, Scott Frost back. So we'll see how it plays.